To the Middle East now, and more than 40 protesters have been wounded in another day of tensions in Jerusalem and the West Bank. Israeli police clashed with Palestinian protesters early on Friday. Israeli police and soldiers fired tear gas to disperse protesters who poured into the streets after Friday prayers. It's been more than a week now since President Donald Trump announced the U.S. now recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Earlier this week, the Organisation of Islamic Cooperation retaliated by declaring East Jerusalem the capital of Palestine. Trump's announcement has angered Muslims across the world who say the U.S. is no longer fit to be a mediator in the Middle East peace process. Let's get you more on that story now. I'm joined live from Jerusalem by CGTN's Adel Mahroui. Adel, last week we saw mass protests across the Arab world following Friday prayers. What's the situation today?
Well, protests have broken in the Palestinian territories in the West Bank, in Ramallah and in Gaza, as well as a few protests here in Jerusalem, in the eastern part of Jerusalem. According to Palestinian sources, at least 3 protesters have been killed and 164 injured in the protest that surrounds the country. Israeli officials say that over the night since Thursday here in Jerusalem, they've arrested over 80 protesters as police try to disperse them and to give regulations of specific regulations of movement and entry regulations also to the old city here behind me. All in all, it's more quiet now as night has fallen and the weather gets cold, but it has not been as big as expected, especially here in East Jerusalem. The police were ready for thousands to rally and protest. We've seen dozens of protesters and they haven't had any significant impact in the streets here in East Jerusalem.
Adel, it's been more than a week now since Trump's announcement on Jerusalem, and there's no sign that he will backtrack. What will the Arab world do next regarding this controversy?
Well, the Arabs leaders and foreign ministers are holding continuous meetings and are coordinating with each other on a daily basis. According to previous decisions from the League of Arab States, they have already scheduled another emergency meeting next month for the Trump's decision. The foreign ministers will meet and will re-evaluate what they have reached. They've been depending heavily on getting a UN Security Council resolution to condemn Trump's decision and try to rally as much international support as possible. But according to them, so far they're just following the political track. There hasn't been any significant action on the ground or even seriously posed from the information we've been getting about the talks between Arab leaders. But the biggest possibility is that there might be a call for an Arab summit, but that will not happen before the next foreign ministers meeting.
And Adel, countries across the world have been rejecting Trump's decision on Jerusalem. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, the rejections for the Palestinians here, when we've talked to them, they have been quite disappointed. They believe that because of the protests they see in the Islamic and Arab world, they believe that the people of the Islamic world supports them greatly. But when it comes to political actions, they have been quite disappointed. They believe that the world can do more than just releasing statements and condemning Trump's position. They want to see those who really object provide actual and tangible solutions to this crisis, to officially come out and recognize Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, as the capital of a Palestinian state. But more than that, they want a Palestinian state and they want the world to help in that. So to them, the international community's support, as much as it is significant to show the magnitude of objection to Trump's decision, but the people here, it doesn't really change anything on the ground.
All right, Adel Mahroui live in Jerusalem. Thank you.